Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to our date night series we're doing, just the two of us, little mini marriage retreat that we have. I think we're in week 4.
Week 4, yep.
Tonight.
Hopefully you enjoyed the questions last week, and that was a good review for you. Tonight we're talking about encouraging one another and how to encourage one another in marriage. And just as a reminder, God's intention for marriage is that we experience freedom, that we honor each other, and that together we flourish. So you flourish as an individual, as a couple, as a family, and in fact, the whole world flourishes when marriages are healthy. So we're talking tonight about encouragement. But before we do, we just want to say we're changing the format a little bit. Our previous ones have been longer. We're going to go with more short episodes so we can maximize the time you and your spouse have together.
So tonight we want to talk about encouraging one another within marriage. So how do we honor our spouse and help them to flourish when it comes to encouragement? So in Ecclesiastes 4:9, we hear that 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. They can help the other one succeed. In 1 Thessalonians 5:11, it reads, "Therefore, encourage one another and build each other up, just as in fact you are doing."
That's one of the most important things about marriage is how we honor each other and build each other up. And we talked about being allies before, and so that part of that is encouraging each other. So we want to go 3 quick ways that you can encourage each other, even starting today and this week. The first is to listen and share. Marriage is about knowing and being known, right? A lot of relationships are, but marriage is the special where you're fully known as much as anybody knows you. And so part of that is knowing the other person, knowing and being known.
And I think you started with listen and before share, because sometimes I think that we get real excited to share, but we haven't yet listened to the other person. So it really needs both.
Yes, that's part of marriage, right? You listen to each other, you share about yourself. And so, how do you do that? How was your day, right? Just intentional conversation. One of the things that we've learned is noticing what the other one is doing or has done and saying thank you. An intentional thank you, just that noticing, when one of us has been with the kids for a long time that day, and, just that thank you can go a long way. Verbal affirmation is really important in marriage. There was a study one time that talked about how many positive interactions you needed to have for every negative, right? In a sense that you're building this love bank, you're building this care bank that is your reserve. So when conflict does come up, it's not as personal. It doesn't affect you because you've got all these positive interactions. So being verbally affirming of your spouse is really important. Part of that is eye contact too, right? It's one thing if you're reading your phone, hey, how you doing, honey? And thanks, right? No, but making time to look each other in the eyes.
That is something we have identified in our marriage, right?
Guilty as charged. Yeah.
The eye contact is important. Having your full attention given and received is a game changer in communication. Did you want to say something more to that?
No, I'm good.
The next one is, and maybe you guys have more ideas on that too. You could always share it here. That would be fun. The next one is random acts of kindness.
Random acts of kindness. Do you know what your spouse enjoys, like what makes their day? So one of the things that I discovered is that Trish loves it when I make coffee for her in the morning. And so what I do, especially during this COVID times, I've started doing is I make her coffee and I put a little sticky note on it with an encouraging verse or something, or something I want to say to her just to encourage her for the day. That's one special way that I can encourage her.
And it has taken a few steps to learn what kind of coffee is appreciated.
the notes are always so nice. The coffee, that's so much.
You've gotten better.
I have. I'm killing it now.
I will still drink it, but
another thing
is really sweet.
I know that if I just want to bless her today, like cleaning the kitchen, right? Getting the kitchen all clean. You love that.
I'm just a surfaces person. If the surfaces are clean, I can just think clear. It's just more helpful.
Yeah.
And you're like that with the floor.
I am like that with the floor. Mm-hmm. Or when I come home from work, if I'm at the office and the kids have been home all day and you've asked them to clean up, that just for some reason that is important to me. All right, so we've talked about listening and sharing. We've talked about random acts of kindness. The third way to encourage your marriage is something called simmering. Now, simmering is an idea we got from our friend Kim.
Who's a marriage and family therapist.
Who's a marriage and family therapist,
Yeah.
and just awesome.
She's awesome, Kim.
But she said this, the key to a fulfilling marriage is to simmer several times a day. Now, what is simmering, you say? It is basically flirting. Flirting with your spouse, your lover, several times a day in ways that you can flirt without focusing on that flirting ending in necessarily something sexual.
So you're just doing it to engage in and be in relationship with your spouse.
Mm-hmm. It's encouraging.
Right.
You know, sometimes we can do things in a sense expecting something, but that's not what this is, right? That can often lead to like conflict or disappointment. No, you just simmer, you flirt with each other in a self-giving way, where out of love and desire and interest, you're just communicating to your spouse, hey, I value you, I love you, I'm interested in you, and you just kind of turn on the heat all day long, and that can be really fun and encouraging to each other.
Yeah. All right. We are at our discussion question point. So hopefully these ideas have stirred in you some conversations. So take these as extra ones that maybe you guys want to talk about together. The first one is, how can I be present with and affirm my spouse? So maybe that's something that you guys want to think about and then come to each other and discuss with one another. Maybe you know just right off the bat and you're ready to talk about it. Number 2, what kind of thing can I do that I know they will appreciate? Do you know what already what would just help your spouse feel like you paid attention and cared for and loved them today? If you do, then man, you're ready to go. You're ready to hit the road with it.
Or maybe you have some ideas that you want to share about how your spouse could help you feel appreciated. Maybe that's like, we've learned that throughout the years, different times, that things we didn't even know actually were really important to us, or small things that can really be encouraging for each other.
Well, in different seasons of life, maybe something you would appreciate at one time, maybe it doesn't tick the same box as it used to, and maybe something else would be different. So, maybe you are far along in your marriage and it's time to change up and update each other on what would make you feel loved right now. So this is just a perfect discussion to have. I hope that this is helpful, and your third, it's not a discussion.
It's not a discussion,
it's more
but
like a charge.
just encouragement. Go flirt.
Go flirt.
Go flirt.
Have a great weekend.
Thanks for joining us.
We will see you next Friday.